Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Belair, and this is Open Hearts Club. Today, I wanted to talk about a question that's coming up for the 7-day wellness experience that I'm in partnership slash participation with Cacao Lab. And the question that's kind of the main thought around it is, how do we come back to ourselves in times of uncertainty? This is definitely a big question, not something you can answer in a 10-15 minute video. So I will do my best to kind of articulate what this means to me and hope that it might also offer you the opportunity to think about what does it mean and how do we come back to ourselves in times of uncertainty. I think, I've been reflecting on this and thinking about it the past couple days because I knew this experience was coming up, and so I wanted to articulate it, to think about it. And as someone who really likes to do a lot of introspection work, it was important to me to kind of digest this and think about it. And so this morning, while doing my morning kind of ritual with cacao, I kind of came up with a couple thoughts. And so one of the things I came up with was we need to let go of that which doesn't serve. And so for me, that's like the need to control. And so just doing like this deep introspective work, thinking about what is no longer working. So how do we kind of come back to ourselves? And so that kind of question makes me think that there's like this internal self that's like this very good, pure, beautiful self that's like sometimes hidden between the layers of our own experience, but also from our external world, which sometimes can feel a little bit like the Wild West. So we always have to kind of come back to this like centering, peaceful place. And like, how do we do that? Like, where does that come from? And how do we find it, even with our own layers of things that we're working through, and also the things in the external world, whether it be friends or family or things you have to do or this or that. So it's like it's a lot to think about. And so another thing that came up were emotions that are rooted in fear and pain. So realizing that those are there, and that's something I need to work through and let go of, and to come back to this better, more vibrant version of myself that exists, even while those parts of me are all of me. So it's kind of an interesting thing to think about. And so kind of actionable things that I was thinking about was, how do we get back to that core self? And so for myself, it started with developing a routine. And so something that makes me feel whole, that makes me feel good, noticing the things that really, really fill my cup, that really bring me joy, that bring me happiness, and dedicating time and energy and effort into those spaces. And so that's why I'm really grateful to be doing this challenge, or this experience that we're all participating in, because it's giving me the space to really reflect and to look inside myself and realize that the practice of working with cacao is really valuable to me. And I've known this. Like, I've done a 30-day dieta with cacao, and that proved to be very beautiful. It was in collaboration with taking the class through Cacao Lab, a 5-week journey with their co-founder Florencia Friedman, and just learning the ins and outs of cacao, what the medicine means, how does it interact with our bodies, where does it come from, how is it created, how do we practice cultural appreciation as opposed to appropriation? How do we use this medicine to become more creative, more loving, more kind, more gentle? And what are some other practices that work with it? So these are all really beautiful things that I've learned through this personal exploration with cacao, that was led through, like I said, the co-owner. So it was really enlightening in a lot of ways. And so coming back to this 7-day wellness experience has been really wonderful, and is something that I'm looking forward to taking the time out of my day and bringing it all back to this like internal core self, that when she's taken care of, when she's listened to, when she feels heard and respected, that she can come out into this world as like a more vibrant, more happy, more beautiful self, and not on an external level, but more or less like the energy that's being put out. And so it's my belief that, when we are experiencing difficulties in our lives and in our worlds, that we always have to come back to the goodness, to to the love, to the thing that matters the most. And I can really sense that I just had my cup of cacao, because I definitely feel like a beautiful, like expansive feeling. And I'm really grateful for that. So I feel like if there's anything that we can do in our time on this planet to take care of ourselves, to take care of our spiritual well-being, to take care of our physical well-being and our mental and our emotional and all these different bodies that we inhabit, that's good work. The beautiful thing about cacao is that it's not something that you just kind of put together and you guzzle down. It's more or less an experience of slowing down, of chopping the cacao, of measuring it, of adding different things that you think your body needs. So it's almost like having this intuitive sense of like, what does my body need today? And so for me, I chose turmeric with vanilla and a little bit of salt, and of course pepper, because you're supposed to do that with turmeric. And it was a really delicious experience. It was really beautiful. I'm excited to share some of the imagery with you, and because it has really been such a heart-opening experience for me, and a lot of the reason why I started the Open Hearts Club is because of my experience with cacao. And so I think there's this beautiful thing that happens when we start to do deep work, when we start to do spiritual work, when we start to really look into ourselves, is that we have this softening of the heart space. We're becoming more vulnerable, more open, more aware of like how we interact and exchange our energy within any circumstance. And so I'm not claiming to be an expert or perfect at it or anything like that, but I just know that it's really valuable work that we can all benefit from. So if there's anything in your life that's been calling you to slow down, to take the time, and that you know it serves a purpose. So getting back to that question, how do we come back to ourselves in times of uncertainty? The best way to do that is to take care of your body, to take care of your mind, to notice the thoughts that are coming up, to notice how you interact with others, how others make you feel, how you make yourself feel when you think thoughts, when you talk to yourself, the way you move through a space. Are you moving fast? Are you moving slow? Are you bumping into things? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? And like I said, I'm speaking from experience. I am definitely more on the hummingbird spirit end of things, like I'm fluttering around, bumping into things left and right, but I also am like very strong and capable too. So just understanding who you are and how you navigate your world is like really valuable ability to really see yourself and to understand yourself, to know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what are the things that you could work on, that you can improve. And so that's where you can start. Like maybe you need to process some difficult emotions. So journaling might be like a really beautiful exercise for you to really say like, what do I need in this moment right now? And how can I schedule it in my life that I feel nurtured and taken care of? And so, like I mentioned, developing a routine is something that really works for me with like this kind of hummingbird energy that I carry and that I'm just learning to love and accept along this journey. In this uncertainty, we may feel the constant need to lift and serve and help others. And a lot of us are kind of people pleasers, right? We always want to make sure, is this person okay? Is that person okay? Is everyone around me okay? Like we always want to ask that, but we need to pull that back inward and just imagine like, what does this person need right now? Because once you start taking care of yourself in like a better and deeper way, you're going to notice your whole world change. And I'm getting a very small glimpse of it, and it's been very personally rewarding in a lot of ways, which has just really filled my cup and made me realize the value of doing this deep work, this inner work, this sometimes uncomfortable work, and often paired with plant medicine and plant allies like cacao that have been more expedited in some ways, like this experience of having the heart open. I was trying to make. So thinking about where are we extending ourselves when we should be bringing that love back into ourselves instead of helping everyone and everything around us. That's just something to be aware of. So we must first help ourselves through love, through self-compassion, through nurturing and taking care of our bodies and the blessed spaces that we get to inhabit. And so that's why I really enjoy working with cacao, is because it helps me slow down. It helps me be grateful. It actually not forces me, I don't want to use that word, it encourages me to be grateful. Like it offers that space. So when I carve out time to do this 7-day wellness exchange, I'm literally slowing down. I'm preparing something that I really care about and that I know I'm supporting a company that cares about the planet, that cares about the people. All the indigenous wisdom and these stewards of the land are all like taken in account. So I'm supporting a company that is supportive of others, and then I'm supporting myself by giving myself the time and energy to make something that's good for my body, that's nourishing, that has all these other beautiful like benefits for not just the physical body but the energetic body. And then also creating space and time for what we call ceremony, right? So, having the journal out, cleansing the space with some sort of herb that makes sense for who you are and how you identify or what you have access to. For myself, sometimes I'll use cedar that I collect from my backyard here in Michigan, but I also use Palo Santo and some culinary sage as well. So there's this kind of sense of like using the plant medicine, using the things that are available to us and honoring its energy, honoring what it can do for us, and thanking it. Like cacao helps me bring gratitude into the everyday. Like I'm thanking things that I used to consider inanimate. Like I might not have thanked my water. Now I'm like, thank you to this water, like for nourishing my body, for connecting me with the molecules that make up this entire existence. So it's kind of like facilitating a space to be more grateful and to be more open and to be more nourishing. And if that's what we do throughout our lives, just imagine like the way that the world can change. And it's also creating a space to journal. Like sometimes we're like doing all this stuff, and we're crossing things off the list. We're reading this book for class, we're doing our homework, we're taking care of this person, that person, but the most important thing is to take care of this human that's here, that's me, that's you, that's offering that space, offering that time. And so when I get the chance to journal, and when I have a question like how do we come back to ourselves in times of uncertainty, it's really creating that positive space that's going to create change and to create more love and to create more understanding. So creating time to journal, to reflect, to go inward, to say thank you, to have gratitude, to use the spirit of cacao and the plant medicine of cacao to honor the heart space, the space that needs the most opening, that often gets the hardest, right? To honor the indigenous wisdom and to not appropriate it, but to appreciate it, and saying thank you to all the elders and the lineage that came before my own personal learning. And thank you to conscious businesses that are doing the right thing. Like that's all things that we're able to make choices on and to decide like how do we spend our time, how do we spend our money. Do I want to get like 10 cups of coffee at Starbucks, or do I want to invest in a block of ceremonial cacao so I can have something that feels a little bit more slow and a little bit more nourishing? So I like that idea of when we are able to spend our money well and to spend it on the things that matter and that are also like uplifting us. So it's almost like a ripple in a pond where you're like, it's like a stone, like you're throwing the stone into the water and it's just creating this beautiful ripple. And that's the ripple that we create by me being like, I need to look inward more. Like I'm really struggling in my life. Like I need to support things that are going to lift me and to invest my money in things that are going to lift me instead of doing what everybody else is doing. So it's all like connected. It's like that web of life that Sandra Ingerman talks about and that we're all inherently a part of. So you might not think your small actions matter, but they definitely do. So that's kind of my reflections on the question of the day, the thought of the day. And if you are interested in learning more about ceremonial cacao, like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who is learning and kind of educating myself as much as I can. I have taken the 5-week course with Florencia Friedman through Cacao Lab, so I'll link to that. And if you feel inclined to learn about cacao or to try it yourself, definitely check out some more of my other videos and blog posts. And there's a host of other really talented and creative and spiritual individuals out there that you can learn from as well. And I'll try to link to some of those people in addition to the other links. So please check those out, and please tell me what you think. What kind of thoughts are you having on this reflection question of how do we come back to ourselves in times of uncertainty? I appreciate your time, your energy, and I hope you also get to enjoy a cup of cacao this morning and you have the chance to slow down and just reflect on all the good things that are happening in your life today. So thank you so much, and wishing you a beautiful and open-hearted day today. Thank you.